Yo, I'm just venting. Today I'm just venting. I'm just going to tell you what's on my mind. I'm so happy that I made this channel so that I could share certain things with people who will catch the message. Anybody who catches these videos, you were meant to catch the video. Please make sure that you thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe to this channel so that, you could be a part of this community that I'm building over here. I have another channel, but I really don't even want to promote this over here. I really want these videos just to be for the people who, they ended up seeing this video, and that's that, right? So listen, I titled this video, My Mother is Breaking My Heart. The reason why I titled this video, My Mother is Breaking My Heart, is because, and this has been something I've been holding in for so long, and it's just like, you never know who you'll be able to connect with and what they're going through, and if they can relate or anything, right? So my mom, she just turned 70 years old on Christmas Eve, and she's dealing with some like early stage like memory issues, like and it's hard to say it, but like she's dealing with like some dementia symptoms, right? Now I will say this, and this is why I feel like I've been so laser focused with health and wellness and just trying to take care of myself, is because my mom, when I was younger, she had a stroke, right? I don't know if any of y'all have any family members who've gone through any like dementia or anything like that, but it is not fun at all, right? It's not fun at all. And I want to tell you something honestly. So my mom had a stroke when she was younger, and I did notice certain things with her memory and stuff like that, and I feel so crazy because it's like when I was younger, I kind of called this out. I was like, because she would just ask me certain things. She would ask it like over. It was like, as it was like, how when a person asks you something over and it's just like, damn, like, you didn't understand or whatever. But now looking back and, at hindsight, realizing after the research that I've done, when a person has a stroke, their chance of developing any type of like a dementia, it triples your chances. So my mom is currently going through that, and I'm living in Houston, Texas. I've been here 9 years, right? And it's like now I'm trying to get my mom to come here and to be with me, but she's like, I'm a New York girl. I'm never gonna move to Houston or whatever the case may be. But I feel like she needs to be here with me. And it's so heartbreaking to experience your parent go through that. And it's just like, my mom was there for me like my whole life. She's been like, to me, like for me and my brothers, like she's been the glue. She was the person, thank God that I had my father in my life. I know who he was, but my mother stayed in the fight. She was the one who was there for us and made a way out of no way. I remember this is when I felt like my mom was a hero. I ain't care. I remember when I was younger, I was in school and I lost this book, right? And the teacher was just on me for it. Like, I need the book. Like, everybody, you're going to need the book. I told my mother what the book was, and I don't know how she found it, but she found it for me. I was like, oh, this is my superwoman. I remember thinking that when I was younger. She would do anything and she would make any and everything right. I love her. So to see her go through these things, right? I want to mention this to you because I don't know if you have family that was impacted by this too, but this pandemic, it definitely did a number on my mom. My mom retired like in 2019, and then when the pandemic came, I have a disabled brother. He was living with her, and it was just like they was cooped up in the house all the time. And me being down here, I could speak to her on the phone, but I didn't fully understand and see like what was going on, because it was a point where it was like I didn't go home for like a year. And with the pandemic, because everybody was heightened with being scared of getting the COVID and all of that, right? But yeah, so it's like my mom, she's still the same, like as far as a person, but I can tell like certain things, like, I'll get off the phone with her and then she'll call me back like, hey, like, I just wanted to let you know that I was okay or whatever and whatever. And I'm just like, Mom, yeah, I just spoke to you. Sometimes she might do it 3 times or whatever, right? And then as of recently, and like this is what's like breaking my heart, is because I can tell, she lives alone. She lives in a really nice apartment, and my mom did really good for herself her whole life. Like as far as like working, she worked for GE her whole life. My mother gets a nice pension every month, Social Security, so she's able to. She stays at this really nice like retirement home or whatever. The rent is like almost $3,000. So I'm just like, damn, like she did something right in her life to be able to pay that and still have money after, like to do whatever. Her bills is always paid on time, and that's just an indication that somebody did something right in their life. And a lot of our parents who grew up in that era, they had the pensions and they worked for jobs who had that type of benefit. But She's been calling me recently because she lives in like this new place, and she's just like, is this my apartment? She was just like, I feel like, she was like, this is a hotel, like this is not my apartment. So it's like, that's making me like nervous, where it's just like, damn, she's not even like, she feel like she not even at home. So she's been doing this thing lately where it's like, my brother's been going over to be with her and my aunt and stuff, right? Thank God for my aunt. My aunt has really been there a lot for her, and she's been packing up her stuff in her apartment, like, I gotta leave, I gotta go, like, so it hurt. It's like, they had, my aunt had to like take her keys away from her because she got lost a few times. And it's like, this is where it's just like, yo, I'm gonna be 42 years old this year. It's not fun, like, witnessing your parents age, yo. And especially, this is to like my 80s babies. A lot of us is in our 40s and late 30s now. It's like, this is like, our parents are getting older. You got to think, if you're 40 years old now, how old was you when your parent was born? My mother had me, she was 29. She turned 30 years old this year. I'm gonna be 42. So I just try to like live in the moment of being like, being grateful that I had a mother who was there for me when I was young, raised me, and she was there, and that's like, I love her, I appreciate her, and all of that, right? But if I could tell anything to you, if you have a person in your family who's going through that, each and every time, even if she called me when I was at work the other day, she called me about 7 times, right? And I picked up the phone even though I'm at work, and I was just gentle, and I just was calm, and I talked to her, and she was like, am I at home? Like, is this my apartment? I'm like, yeah, mom, look at your fireplace. Your fireplace is there. Your TV that we just bought you. Oh, right, you're right. You and your brother did just buy me that TV, right? And it's a lot, right? It's a lot. And then sometimes, with people who dealing with like those type of like dementia, so she would drink coffee, cup after coffee. So we just recently yesterday had to like take her coffee away from her and give her decaf, but she would drink cup after coffee and be up all night, and I could hear it in her voice, like, mom, have you been to sleep? And she like, no. And I could hear it because she just like seems wound up, right? So she'd be like, I gotta get out of here. And I'm like, mom, what do you mean you gotta get out of here? And I'm thinking, like, is this the signs of a person who, when people start roaming and where they start, doing stuff like that, where they don't feel like they belong where they are? So today she's better. It's just like, with this type of like, with this type of illness, or, I don't know. I don't want to call it a disease. Is dementia a disease? Like, I don't want to say that because I feel like a disease just sounds so bad. Alzheimer's disease, dementia, I think it's all in the same region, right? You just don't want to say it because it's just so damn hard to accept it. But I wanted to be transparent because I didn't know anybody else who's going through that, who's dealing with something like that. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of tell you, if you're a person, like, especially if you're younger, right, get your life together. My mom, she was raising 3 kids. My mom was working 3, probably almost 4 jobs when she had a stroke. She wasn't really getting that much of a good sleep. She was working like around the clock. She had a mortgage to pay, a car note to pay. She was sending us to private school. So when my mom had a stroke when I was in 3rd grade, we got out of the private school, and then we went to the public school. And that's how I could kind of chill. Like, the quality of my life at home didn't change, but she just couldn't pay that tuition because she had to cut back on working, while my father just lay by doing whatever, and he dealing with his own karma or whatever. My mother stayed in the fight. And this is why I go so hard at my brothers when they try to like say anything about my mother. Who was there? Who stayed in the fight? Who could you count on? Right? You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed and happy that I know my dad, and I'm not one of them people who don't understand who I look like. I know exactly who I look like, who characteristics that I have. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the positive and working and, moving forward type of qualities, I get that from my mother. As far as like, my attitude, my approach and things like that, I get a lot of that from my dad, but I balance it because he has some ways where it's like, it's not really conducive to growth. So I do have a sprinkle of it in me. Like my dad, like me, all of my brothers, we have this thing in us where we could snap. But I used to do that when I was younger, but as I got older, like my 20s, I realized that wasn't productive. So I control it. It's no need for me to go off on that, and it doesn't feel good to my body. I remember at times I would snap and like get so mad or like spaz on something. You ever spaz and you can feel your hands shaking, like your hands just shaking like that? It's not good for my nervous system. I don't snap like that. I don't. So I just control it. So I'm happy that my dad was in my life, but my mother is my fighter. She's the writer, and it just hurts to see her going through just life changes. Our parents are going to age. So what I will tell you in your young age, right, first and foremost, if you're a person dealing with a family member like that, be patient with them. Don't get frustrated with them. I try to be so patient with my mom. Like, she asks things over and over or whatever, right? And she's going to see a neurologist so they can kind of figure out, well, she already seen a neurologist, but she has to go back for a follow-up, just to like figure out, for some more testing or whatever. But what I will tell you as a young person, right? Take care of yourself, because when you have a stroke, it triples your chances. Strokes can be caused by, not taking care of yourself, overeating, eating the wrong foods, smoking, stuff like that, right? I think that I feel like a lot of stress in regards to this matter, but I feel so blessed because I had a parent who really took care of me. And I always think like this, and some of y'all might think this is wrong, but if anything was to happen to my mom today, tomorrow, or whenever, I know that if I was to ever speak at her service, the type of things that I would say about her, the type of writer that she was, the type of person that who she was for me. And I'm happy that I had had that experience in this lifetime. Yeah, it is hard to see her going through this. It's so hard, and it's just like, damn, I feel so bad, because it's just like she can't just take herself to the store no more. She can't just go to the casino. She loved going to the casino. She can't just get up and just do certain things anymore, because she might get lost. Like, I'm so fortunate and happy that she would call me, because she called me living in Texas. Like, I don't know where I am. I'm on, I'm on some sort of avenue in New York where we live at. And so, my family came and they helped her. This was a few months ago. But yeah, it's hard, like dealing with a parent who's going through something, like dealing with a family member. I don't know if your grandparent or your family member, or maybe an aunt that you love, dealing with that. But yeah, hopefully you had a good experience with them during life, and you can just kind of like lean on that type of memory, if something should happen to them. But listen, we're all gonna get old, and this is why I urge you, establish a workout routine. Establish it. Don't smoke. My mom, and what's so crazy, before she started to get deep off into this whole symptoms of it, she told me, she said, you don't want to have a stroke, you don't want to have one. She says, stop smoking, because I was smoking the 420 or whatever, never cigarettes or anything. She said, stop smoking, get healthy, get yourself right. You don't want to do it. I'm telling you, do the research yourself. If you have a stroke, that triples your chances of having dementia, Alzheimer's. So listen, leave your comments below. What I'm saying, I want to know what you feel about this. If you're a person who comes across this video, let me know, have you ever dealt with a family member who's going through dementia? How did you handle it? What type of things did they were your family members doing what made you notice it? I noticed certain things. I'm telling you, I've been noticing it for years. If it's one thing how they say your family knows you or your brothers know you, I know my mom too. So, it started off in little things where I would see, like, maybe I would say back in 2019, 2020. Well, 2019, I noticed that she would like go to the store and keep buying the same thing over and over. And I'll be like, oh, this is like, yeah, this is like the beginning, right? But yeah, certain days are better than others. Anyway, I've been rambling. Get in the comments, let me know what you think. Potent Pondering. I'm sorry, that's my other channel, Potent Pondering. Just Venting. Make sure that you subscribe to Just Venting. Listen, I'm up out of here. Peace.